Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're having a lovely day. If you are new to the channel, my name is Excoundrel, and I do sort of like Wild Rift analysis guides. I break down esports, I do champion guides, I do game guides. I generally focus on educational content. So if you're coming from the Up Next or the YouTube homepage or suggested videos, hello, welcome. I hope you're having a lovely time, and I hope you enjoy the content that I'm putting out today. If you're a returning subscriber, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. You mean the world to me. I've had a really good start to 2021, and it's in a large part due to the support that you've given me on Wild Rift. And also thanks to G2A for continuing to sponsor the channel. Reference link in the description below. So, guys, we are going to be doing some more esports analysis. Now, for those of you that know me, you'll know that I'm a League of Legends caster. Casting over esports is kind of like one of my jobs. And so one of the things that I've been doing recently for fun has been casting part of the Assassin Dave and Trovo and Wild Rift competitive Asian Brawl tournament. And what I've been allowed to do, and what Dave has allowed me to do, is use VODs to do some analysis of. So if you want to check out the videos, you want to go back and watch the games, or you want to catch the live action from the Asian Brawl, Assassin Dave's Trovo link is in the description below, and he does it every Friday, Saturday and Sunday, starting around either 7:30 or 8 a.m. GMT, something like that. That's when I know I have to turn up to cast. But yes, those are the times. Today we're going to look at a clash between a Malaysian team, I think it's a Malaysian team, called Berjaya Dragons, and we're going to also look at a Japanese team called Sengoku Gaming, or Sengoku Esports. This was a really interesting game, because I think that Sengoku played it incredibly well. I'm going to break down the comps before we get there, though, so let's have a little look at the compositions. So we're going to break down this game today, which is between Berjaya Dragons and Sengoku Gaming. So what we're going to do first, as we always do, is talk about the compositions. We're looking at it from Sengoku's point of view right now. So that means that we are looking at the Misfortune composition. They are running Misfortune Alistair in the bot lane, Twisted Fate in the mid lane, Lee Sin in the jungle, and Malphite in the Baron lane. This is post-nerf, so this is Misfortune post-nerf. This is also Lee Sin post-nerf, so they're still considering these two picks influential enough to play. What do I think about this composition? Well, first of all, it clearly has one goal. It is definitely a teamfight composition. Twisted Fate adds an element of split push. Twisted Fate is very good at pushing side lanes and being able to use his ultimate to get into the fight. He's also good at very good at influencing side lanes before you start to group up and fight around objectives. But the very core baseline concept of this teamfight is Malphite ult, Alistair pulverize, headbutt pulverize combo. You layer that over the top with a bullet time. You add CC, so any kind of crowd control. And what I mean by crowd control is like stuns, knockups, roots, anything like that. To a Misfortune ultimate, you're going to massively and exponentially increase the damage that it can do to a team. So you layer that with a big knockup from Alistair and a big knockup from Malphite. As long as you position your ultimate correctly, you're going to absolutely tear apart the enemy team. You have a lot of single target damage with the Twisted Fate and the Lee Sin to pick off stragglers. And that's also added an element of pick potential as well. Twisted Fate gold card and Lee Sin's ability to flash kick or dash kick can you isolate a target, which is also pretty good as well. So this composition has got a lot of elements, but for the primary goal of this composition is to group up and fight around objectives. Primarily that first dragon, they've got a very strong level 5. Malphite has got a strong level 5. Alistair has got a strong level 5. Misfortune has got a very strong level 5. So they're going to utilize that to fight for the first dragon and potentially snowball from there. They've also got a very strong early game. Lee Sin is a good early game jungler, and Misfortune Alistair is a great early game bot lane duo. And also, when you look at the actual composition, it's easy to execute. We talk about this concept of ease of execution a lot, which basically means if I were to put you guys on this comp, you would kind of know what to do without being a pro team. It's ease of execution. We say that it's like an easy composition to execute. It's like very little can go wrong as long as you just press the right buttons. And that's basically the Sengoku composition. Then you look at the Berjaya Dragons composition. Camille in the Baron lane, Vi in the jungle, Akali mid, and then a Braum Corki bot lane. Corki was played quite a lot in the bot lane in the Asian Brawl tournament, which was interesting to me. Was not expecting it. What do we think about this composition then? Well, it has a lot of single target lockdown. Vi ultimate, Camille ultimate, and also the hook shot. Akali is primarily single target. Braum has got a lot of single target stuns, but also has a little bit of AoE, but primarily single target lockdown from these guys, which I don't think plays particularly well into the comp from Sengoku. They also have a lot of scaling, Corki scales, and takes a while to come online. Camille is a scaling champion. Akali is good in the early game, but also scales. And so I'm looking at this comp and saying, well, actually, they don't fight in the early game as well as the Sengoku composition. And then, we were just talking about ease of execution. Camille and Akali, this is not a classic team fight composition. This is a comp that wants to kill people either with superior vision control and catching someone out before the team fight even starts, so that you can have a man advantage and then either force the engage, because they have got really good engage, like Vi Ultimate and Camille are both really good engagers. Maybe not as good engage as Sengoku, who have got Malphite and Alistair, but they have the engage if they need it. So, you've got a single target pick off, and then you maybe look to go for a team fight following that. But it's an inferior teamfight composition in the early to mid game compared to Sengoku. So they can't compete for the early Drakes. They have to get very lucky. They have to get a kill or a gank. They have to generate a man advantage outside of a pure 5v5 teamfight, because they lose early game teamfights to Sengoku. Also, they have two split pushing champions, Akali and a Camille. They are primarily good in 1v1 scenarios. So we call them split pushing champions because they're going to want to stay in the side lanes and try and force 1v1s and then kill the person that's trying to 1v1 them and continue to take towers. 1-3-1s are like notoriously hard to pull off in Wild Rift right now. No one's really cracked the code about how to play a split push composition properly. So don't worry, it's not just your solo queue games. Even pro players are yet to really figure out how to play split push properly, and I think that's what makes this comp hard to execute, because there is a major win condition that lies in split pushing compared to the win condition from Sengoku, which is literally group and take objectives. For Berjaya Dragons, they've got this split push composition win condition, which, split pushing can work, and it's a very strong win condition when played correctly, but it's very difficult right now to execute split pushing correctly in Wild Rift, and I think very few teams have figured out how to do it like 100%. All right, long breakdown of the compositions. I like to do a big breakdown on the comps. Let's just jump into the game. Whereabouts are we? Oh, this is a little bit further ahead than I wanted to be. Okay, so we are now 18 seconds into the game. Cool. As you can see, we're following the perspective of Berjaya Dragons. I do need to make you aware that when we are in the game, we do not have spectator mode right now. So Assassin Dave's competition is being streamed from the perspective of someone on each team, and then they switch between the perspective of someone on each team through the game. I believe for this game we are going to be following the Corki, which I think is Saji, and also we're going to be following the Alistair from Sengoku Gaming, which I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Dejiwu. Okay. All right. So we may switch back to the Sengoku Gaming perspective relatively soon, because I know that Saji was having problems with his internet, so the stream was getting a little bit laggy. It's not you, it's just that we had to switch perspectives between the two streams. And one of the things that you're already noticing is that the Corki, even with Phosphorus Bomb, will find it difficult to trade into the Misfortune. It is a tough lane matchup for the Corki. Corki is not a good early game champion, and if he steps up to attack the wave, those double ups will start to deal a significant amount of damage to him. So what you're noticing now, okay, right, this is really important. I'm actually going to pause the video right now. Look at Lee Sin and look at the pings on the map. Lee Sin is saying, I am going to River Scuttler. So Lee Sin is pinging the river. They've just seen Vi on the top side also going for River Scuttler. So Lee Sin is pinging that he's going to contest this. Look at the wave states, okay? Right now, the Sengoku bot lane are not in a strong position to assist Lee Sin if they had to go above the dragon. They'd have to walk through the blue side brush. However, look at Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate is covering and is standing in the mid-side brush where Lee Sin is. He is posturing around Lee Sin. This has two advantages being offered to him right now. If Akali attempts to engage him, Lee Sin can join the fight instantaneously. And secondly, if Akali wishes to come towards Lee Sin, and if there is going to be a fight that breaks out in the river, if Akali wants to come to Lee Sin, she has to go through Twisted Fate first, which without her ultimate is going to be very difficult, because Twisted Fate is a ranged champion and will be able to kite her. Akali really needs her ultimate to be able to kill Twisted Fate in a 1v1 scenario. So Twisted Fate is zoning Akali out from joining a potential fight. And as you can see, already, there is like a fight symbol, fight pings coming out on the map. 1 second. Sorry guys, had to pause it. Rupert woke up. I just wanted to go make sure he was going back to sleep. Supposed to be his nap time. Okay, so this was as a result of, essentially, I paused it at a great moment. This was a result of fighting for the first River Scuttler. What you'll notice is that Lee Sin started red, did Razorbeaks, did Wolves, and then went straight to his River Scuttler. He wanted to be there when it spawned to contest it. I would need to look at the buff that Vi's got, but it looks like she's only got red. So it looks like Vi started and cleared her red side jungle without actually getting her blue buff at all. So when you're playing jungle, it's really important to track where you think the enemy jungler is starting, because usually what will happen is the enemy jungler will either clear red side. Junglers usually never clear blue side. The only jungler that I ever know clears blue side and then goes to River Scuttler is a Mumu. But even then, that's infrequent. And the reason that junglers don't traditionally clear blue side is because the Gromp, the big frog thing, is quite hard to clear. It's almost like a mini red buff or mini blue buff in terms of usually you need smite to kill it without taking too much damage. So what you'll often find is, especially the AoE junglers, the junglers that have got some kind of area effect ability, they'll either hard clear red side, which means doing Razorbeaks, red and Krugs, and then go to their River Scuttler. Or you'll find that the single target junglers like Lee Sin will go either red buff and 2 camps, or they will do red buff, camp, blue buff, and then go to whichever side of the jungle they're on. But understanding where the enemy jungle is important for understanding which River Scuttler they're going to turn up at. And this is important for lanes as well. So if you're in a lane, this is why pushing in early on and trying to get a ward in the enemy jungle is really important, because it will tell you where the enemy jungler is. And knowing where the enemy jungler is, like this here, will tell you which River Scuttler they're going to turn up to try and kill around the 2-minute mark, the 1 minute 32-minute mark. Or which lanes they're more likely to gank. If you've got a jungler starting red side and doing a red side clear, they're either going to go River Scuttler, gank top, gank mid, or they're going to go to their blue side jungle. But you know that if in this particular case, the Camille and the whoever the hell's playing against Camille, I can't remember, Malphite, they know that they're not going to have any influence from the junglers because they know where the junglers are right now. So it's just important to understand jungle paths and where the jungler starts, because it'll give you an idea about where they're going to appear on the map. And the first place that you'll ever see junglers appear is around this time, 1 minute 30 to 1 minute 40, when the River Scuttler becomes contested. If you are a weak jungler, so if you're like an Amumu, or like a Wukong or whatever, and you get taken low in the jungle, you don't want to fight for River Scuttler. So you want to make sure that you're going for the one that the enemy isn't going for. In this particular case, Lee Sin, Alistar, Misfortune is a much better 3-person combination than Corki, Braum, and Vi, especially at this stage in the game. So Berjaya Dragons did not want to fight for this River Scuttler. It was a bad idea. As soon as Lee Sin turned up, Vi should have said, okay, I'm gone. But she didn't, because she thought she could smite it away and they wouldn't be punished for it. But guess what? Alistar exists. And he absolutely, I mean, that combination made me want to have a shower after he hit it. That was insane. And also you can see Twisted Fate, who's level 4, turns up to the top side of the map and they kill everybody. Like, so Twisted Fate has zoned Akali away. Do you remember a minute ago I talked about the Twisted Fate's positioning? He was right here, forcing, if you look at the replay, forcing Akali to have to make a choice between going through him or taking the long way round. And then he walks up and joins the fight. And you might think, oh, what did Twisted Fate actually do here? But he landed a stun, he got a great wild card, and watch Corki afterwards. Twisted Fate walks up and simply walks over and stuns him and gets the kill. So Corki goes down. That's 3 kills they got. Because A, Berjaya Dragons shouldn't have fought for the River Scuttler because they don't have a very strong early game. But B, Twisted Fate's positioning to zone Akali away meant they effectively turned it into a 4 versus 3. Really, really, really good play from Sengoku Gaming, who knew exactly when the most important time to fight was. Again, this is one of the benefits of Twisted Fate that you're seeing here. They went for a 3-man dive on the bot lane on the Camille. They got the kill from Camille. Watch what happens on the bottom side of the map right now, though. They go for a tower dive on the Vi, which I think is very, very risky. Vi has got a lot of single target lockdown. She's level 5 right now, as you can see. She tries to clear the wave here. They do go for, I think they kick her back and they go for the kill. But look at Akali. They are under tower. Akali dives in and Akali gets 3 kills, which is not a good look. Very luckily, though, Dragon hasn't spawned yet. We're about 40 seconds away from dragon spawning, and everybody should be back up and revived by the time that happens. The only problem that we have is Akali got some kills. Now, if you're Sengoku Gaming here, you're thinking about ultimate timers. Vi has quite likely used hers. We saw, based on Akali's minimap movements, that she definitely used her ultimate. So Akali without an ultimate in a team fight sucks, like really bad. So for Sengoku, they're probably pretty confident going for a dragon fight within the next minute or so. One of the problems that you have to be aware of is that, of course, Corki at 4 minutes, his package spawns, and the package is a really great teamfight resource. So Sengoku probably don't want to fight whilst Corki has the package. They want to play a little bit more defensively, either wait for it to expire or force him to use it in another capacity. So you can see that they're not aggressively going for the dragon right now. And I think it's primarily because that Corki package is pretty game-changing when it comes to the dragon fights. That's why Corki is sometimes picked. He's got really good teamfight presence. However, one thing that Sengoku have got going for them is, again, they are stronger in a flat-out teamfight right now. And that's why you saw Berjaya Dragons sort of just give up that River Scuttler. Now, Corki does have the package here. This was, again, why they're backing off. They're not committing to this dragon fight because, again, Berjaya Dragons knew it was happening. Corki has the package, and they are very quick to back off because they know that it is a pretty tough decision to sort of take a fight where you know, essentially Corki could essentially just ruin their day. Now, I just saw Akali use her ultimate in the mid lane based on her movements. They also forced her back. This is now a good time for Sengoku Gaming to look for a dragon. And also Vi just absolutely inted. I don't know what she was doing, but she inted. So even if they hadn't killed Vi there, it was still an okay time to look for a dragon because you just forced Akali to use her ultimate. And as I said, Akali without an ultimate is not a good look. So Sengoku Gaming, they get a pick. This is a really, really clinical execution on the dragon. All they needed to do was they could have done it with the Akali, having no ultimate, but even more so off the back of killing the Vi. Once the enemy jungler is dead, there's no risk of a smite steal, so you're just happy to go for the dragon. That was, again, nice clinical move from Sengoku Gaming. What is their next move, though? What are we looking for them to do next? Well, Rift Herald is spawning. And again, they are stronger. Do you remember when I talked about this composition? This composition is meant to team fight. They want to fight around objectives. They want to force plays using their ultimates. So the best thing for them to do now is rotate to Rift Herald. And if Berjaya Dragons want to contest them, they just win the fight, right? They're just going to win the fight outright. So Berjaya Dragons probably shouldn't look to contest them. They should just look to back off and not take the team fight. But this is a good rotation. This is what I mean. This is what we talk about when it means rotations. You saw the bot lane backed. They moved over towards the Rift Herald, and they're now starting the Rift Herald for free. And again, it doesn't look like anybody's trying to contest him, and I guess they are happy to leave Lee Sin to do the Rift Herald by himself because Corki's turned up top, Akali's not moving from mid, and Camille went for a dive in the top lane as well. Now you can see Twisted Fate comes through, brilliant knock-up again into the Malphite ultimate. I mean, that's just the 1-2 combo that you're looking for. Though, you know, like 3 members of Berjaya Dragons were just completely incapacitated in that fight because of that combination. And that was supposed to be like a catch on the Misfortune, but it turned into a team fight win for Sengoku because of that Alistair Malphite combination. And in the meantime, Lee Sin very cleverly said, okay, right, I am never gonna make that fight. That fight is already over by the time that I've even left the Rift Herald pit. So what I'm gonna do is immediately drop Rift Herald bot, and that's going to allow me to get the first tower of the game, but also I'm very close to taking down that second tower in the bot lane. So that was a really nice play from Lee Sin, because again, he understood what was the best case scenario for his team right in this scenario. Like what were they going to get? What was the best thing that they were going to get out of this team fight? And obviously he knew that the first tower of the game was a really good little addition to their gold score, and overall was probably the best play to make in that scenario. So again, now we're looking what they do now. Like what do Berjaya Dragons do? Well, Berjaya Dragons, their best bet is to clear waves. They may be able to fight in an ultimate situation, like in the sense where they're in the team fight around a dragon and Akali who is still strong. She still has those kills. There is a very real chance if they set up a proper team fight that Akali can still kill the likes of a Twisted Fate and a Misfortune with relative ease. So we're always looking at, the potential of an Akali to turn things around. But for Sengoku Gaming, the primary objective for them now is going to be that mid lane tier 1 tower. That mid lane tier 1 tower is going to be a crucial objective for them, because it is going to essentially open up the map. That's going to allow them to put deep vision in both the red and blue side jungle, and that vision is going to allow them to be more aggressive when setting up for objectives, but also either looking for Twisted Fate catches or Malphite catches, or even a catch with the Alistar. So this is why you've seen them transition into Twisted Fate in a side lane and Misfortune and Alistar in the mid lane. It's just that if Misfortune and Alistar can push up this tower, or they can get a catch, it's much more likely that they'll be able to take that mid lane tower with relative ease. And you can see they are forcing Berjaya Dragons to all hang around this mid lane, and you can actually see the Berjaya Dragons have moved into this 1-3-1 combination, which is Camille in a side lane, Akali in a side lane, and then the 3 remaining members, the Vi, the Braum, and the Corki, all sat in the mid lane clearing waves. That is because that's really how their composition is meant to be played. However, this composition is not meant to be played when you're behind. That's one of the major problems that that you have with the 1-3-1 comp. If your solo laners get behind and they can't actually 1v1, then you actually lose a lot of the side lane pressure. So it's a very risky composition to play that's hard to execute, of course, as I said before. And the next dragon is spawning soon. And again, this is an important one. I believe it's an Ocean Drake, which gives you a bit of regeneration. So you can see that the posturing is already here. Malphite, I think Malphite has teleport. So I'm guessing Malphite is moving away from Camille so that he can potentially teleport to lane if he needs to. He doesn't want to have his teleport cancelled by that Camille. And again, like, the team fight around the dragon is in favor of Sengoku Gaming right now, because they have the strong team fight comp. This is what they want to do. This is the way that you force a team fight win if you're Sengoku Gaming in this scenario. You just want to look for Malphite ults, Alistar ults, and just force a fight with Misfortune able to layer that bullet time over the top as well. And you can see here, Alistar posturing, looking for a headbutt pulver combo. He's looking for an attempt to get onto the Drake. They kick the Vi out of the pit. That was a really nice kick from the Lee Sin, and they end up picking up the Drake for free. And you could just see that they were keen to avoid the team fight. Like, you could see the Berjaya Dragons, and I think this is sensible from Berjaya Dragons, and I actually like that they avoided the team fight. They avoided the team fight because they knew they would lose. They knew that if they got into a full-on team fight against Sengoku Gaming, they were very likely going to come out underneath. They're going for a 5-man roam. I think this is really silly, actually, from Berjaya Dragons, because that 5-man roam has effectively allowed them to push onto that mid lane tier 1. Now, I don't know why the Alistar moved down to the bot lane, but essentially he was just trying to stop. I guess he was just trying to stop this turret from going down, and actually he almost took this Camille down with him. In the meantime, though, they collapsed on the Corki and the Vi. The GA on the Misfortune baited the Vi a little bit, but this is why I didn't like the roam from Berjaya Dragons. Like, they committed a lot of resources to kill a Malphite to get one tower. And yes, that bot lane, the tower that's near the dragon, the tier 1 near the dragon, is important, but now Sengoku, very cleverly, the Misfortune especially, pushed up and just took the mid lane tier 1, because they knew there was going to be very little resistance. Now, obviously, the Vi turned up, but Twisted Fate reacted instantly with his ultimate, and Lee Sin was able to get over to the fight as well, and that allowed them to get a double kill, which was a big win for Sengoku Gaming. Obviously, now the objectives that they're focusing on are going to be Baron. So again, what you're noticing about the gameplay is that it's all objective focused for Sengoku, because their comp is designed to team fight. So the best way to force team fights is to force objectives. Group up at objectives. You don't have to start the objective. Group up at the objective and just sit there and wait for the enemy to come to you. And that was, that's basically what Sengoku Gaming are looking to do. Like, he tries to go on to the Alistar here. This is actually a big pick onto the Akali. She just doesn't. I think maybe she used her smoke screen. I don't know, but she didn't have it. But look at this. They're going to now start to at least threaten the Baron. You can see that Sengoku Gaming, or rather Berjaya Dragons, are worried about it. They're all posturing around the Baron. I think Camille has teleport, which is why she's appearing on the top side of the map. But they have indeed started the Baron. Watch this, though. Okay? This is something that I wish teams did more often. They are here, the teleport's coming through. They immediately stop the Baron, and they start the fight, because they're stronger. They know that they're stronger. And And they're able to just say, okay, like trying to go for Baron is completely in here. Like we just, again, they stepped up too far. Berjaya Dragons were too keen to sort of contest the Baron. They stepped up too far, and immediately Sengoku turned and engaged the fight onto them. Just watch this, okay? They peel off Baron. Watch how close Braum and Corki get. Braum and Corki get too close. The teleport comes through. And again, the immediate engage comes out from Sengoku Gaming. They leave the Baron. They know that the Baron is going to be a bit of a rough move. I love this flash pulv combo. Sorry, this pulverize flash combo from Dejiro, by the way. It's one of the good things you can do on Alistair. But they peel off Baron, they win the fight, and then they take Baron for free without a risk of a steal or a team fight going wrong. More teams need to learn to do that. A lot of teams end up just trying to force the Baron down and end up in a situation where a smite steal can come through, or end up in a situation where you get a resulting team fight after the Baron, once the Baron's already dealt a ridiculous amount of damage to you, and you end up losing a lot of members that have the Baron buff on them. What Sengoku did was like the clever way to approach a Baron situation when you're significantly far ahead and you have a very strong engage. You have Alistair and Malphite. You can engage the fight whenever you like, realistically. So as soon as Berjaya Dragons walk too close to the Baron, leave the Baron alone, engage the fight, win the fight, and then essentially take the Baron for free afterwards. So not only do you get a crap ton of kills, you also get the Baron for free without losing any members and without potentially having a risk of a smite steal. And you can see now Sengoku, because they have an Alistair, because they have a Malphite, they can threaten tower dives really easily. So they are just grouping up as a unit, and they are just posturing around the inhibitor towers. You can see here, they've already got that bot lane pushing. They have the Baron wave minions to create pressure in both the mid and top lane for free. And that just means that Lee Sin can go and take the Infernal Drake and no one can contest him. You can see the entirety of Sengoku Gaming are just essentially eclipsing the red side jungle entrances. And you can see Berjaya Dragons are feeling desperate because they're moving out of their base. They're looking to try and get a potential pick onto someone. But, right now, if you're Sengoku, what a beautiful kick by the Lee as well onto the Vi. There goes down. You could just see Malphite looking for an opportunity to go in. Bullet time on top of the Malphite ultimate. It's just too easy for Sengoku. And I just really wanted to highlight how beautiful the team fight is from Sengoku. It's a really easy composition to execute that is very easy to make work. And even in professional play is super powerful. And they end up getting the win here, as you can see. I'm just going to wait for the victory so I can have a nice little end screen that says victory. Yeah, there we go. So, Sengoku Gaming get the win. Why did I want to highlight this game? Well, it just shows you how, A, Sengoku played around their win conditions perfectly, but B, how team fights around objectives is kind of the meta right now, and Sengoku Gaming absolutely drafted for it and essentially executed on it. It was really good game, and I think was a fun one to analyze. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you enjoyed the content, feel free to subscribe, guys. I'll see you soon.